Happy Monday, all things possible, people out in the world, in the ethers. Thank you guys for joining me today. Take a deep breath. It is Monday. It is the last week of the halfway part of the year. Starting next month, we will be 6 months until the end of 2021. That's crazy. You guys, thank you so much for joining me. I have two guests tonight. My first one is Ranetha. I met on Facebook. And I've noticed a lot of hypnotherapists has been coming across my path. And I've seen her page. And I love, of course, most of all, that a lot of women want to help other women. And so she has, pull up her information. She has a business that she is out here helping other women empower themselves. And of course, I wanted to say, come on and teach me more, teach us more, tell us more, whatever you do, what you're doing. And so I asked her to come on tonight. So we're going to give her a few moments until she jumps on. You guys who are coming on, hello, there she is. Yes. All right. Just a little bit about Ranetha that I found out. Like I said, she has programs that she helps empower other women. And I was thinking today before I started doing my live, like I do with meditation sometimes too, I'm like, why am I doing this? What is the purpose of me doing this? And for me, what gave me the push, the oomph, the love of continue doing it was that I'm learning of different things and tools of how to apply in my life, to change my life, to create it the way I want it to be, internal and externally. And I wanted to help share some of that because I know sometimes people are charging billions of dollars for courses, and not billions of dollars, but you know what I mean. They're making billions of dollars to help other people get tools and tips of how to help themselves and how to create their lives the way they want it to. And so I started this interviews, bringing on people from all over the world. So tonight I'm going to bring my guest on. She's so beautiful. Let's see if I can pull up my drum roll, and we will pull her on here tonight. All right, let's see. Drum roll. Yay!
Amazing, it worked.
It worked. Oh my goodness. Let's see what's happening here. Oh, I try to create this little thing where it's a drum roll while I'm waiting for the person to pop on. But it's on my other phone, and so I have to, it's so funny. I need a button where I can just press. First of all, I want to say, all day today, every time I look at your picture, you remind me of Deepika. Does people tell you that all the time?
The Bollywood star?
Yes.
I used to be told by beautiful Indian women that I worked with that I was, and I was so flattered, and I just thought, really, I look like her, and I've come to a place where I can accept it. So thank you. I really appreciate that.
I think she is one of the most beautiful. And then today I was watching a video that you did on your page, and you were kind of looking. I was like, oh my God, you look so much like her.
Thank you. I so appreciate that. I received that.
On today. You look beautiful.
Thank you. I really appreciate being able to speak and being asked to be in this group. So thank you.
Yeah, like I said, I intuitively get led to people, or someone says, hey, check out this person because they know I'm doing the interviews. And I was intuitively led to your page. And like I said, a lot of hypnotherapists was coming across me, but there was something in your title. Hold on, let me pull it back up really quick. That really caught me. That's a little different than most people that I've been seeing. And it is that you said, hold on, let's see. You said, not the alchemist. Oh man, let's see. Hold on. There was something that you said specifically that I thought was so beautiful, and I was like, I have a worthiness queen, focusing on working with a worthiness queen. And I thought that stuck out to me so much, because that is what we I think all right now collectively are tuning into our worthiness, because that's bringing us a new chapter, a new level of living too. So go ahead. Absolutely. First of all, before we continue, introduce yourself and a little bit about what you do.
Perfect. So my background, so my name's Ranetha and I'm from Melbourne, Australia. That's where I'm living right now. So it's really cool that we get to connect like this
I
online.
know.
My background actually is that I was very corporate. I've been a chartered accountant, then I worked in recruitment and worked in kind of international recruitment where I was working, every company I've previously worked for has been global multi-billion dollar businesses. And I got to a stage where I was doing a lot and like on the outside what looked like complete success, where I was making money, where I was had really like a lot of flexibility, where I was traveling a lot, I was deeply unhappy and deeply unfulfilled. I knew I loved working with people, and my strengths and my passions were always working with teams and lifting them and creating this amazing synergy. And I just I got to have everything that I wanted in previous jobs that I never had, and I was still deeply unfulfilled. And it was at my absolute lowest of lows where, you know, before working at my favorite job, I was working in a role where I was working 60 to 70 to maybe even 80 hours a week. So my whole life was work, and I was absolutely drained of everything, life lost energy. I was hating my life. I gained 20 kilos in the span of a year and a half because it was a work hard, play hard culture. And we used to indulge in drinking and taking clients out to lunches and dinners. And I was dating a man that was so not right for me, but just because I was at such a low, he was kind of substituting. And at my absolute pit of really not enjoying my life, hating my life, being like depressed actually, but not having the tools to even know that I was depressed, I came across a friend who had just seemingly had this transformation over the weekend, and something about her energy shifted, her energy changed. And I asked her what she had done, and she invited me to this course. And I didn't even ask her what it was. Tell me where it is. Tell me what time I need to be there, and I'll be there. And since then, I have never looked back. There was something there that night that they spoke about how people are so caught up in living in their stories of who they think they should be, and forget that they get to create their life, and like what everyone else thinks that they should be doing and how they should be living life. You know, go to school, go to uni, get a job, um, climb up the ladder, get married, have children, buy a house, retire, and then enjoy your life. It really hit me because that's how I was on the path to living that perfect life.
Yeah.
And yeah, I didn't look back. So I started in the mindset work, and then I moved. I've done a lot because, like you were saying, I love, my passion is understanding how people construct their realities. So working it around and deep diving into the worlds of mindset, energetics, emotions, like repressed and suppressed emotions, looking at embodiment work, and even diving into sexuality. Now I look at, okay, how can I combine that? I think in the age where we're in, women in the world of equality have stepped up in the world. They can do anything that men can do, if not better. And what I've found is that they've been competing with women and deeply unfulfilled. And I'm just like, no, like women don't realize that they're worthy, that they're enough, that they're loved, and they settle for things that they shouldn't be settling for. So
Yeah.
that's where I love working with women, helping them like heal the stories around their worthiness, heal the stories around their being enoughness, heal their stories about being loved, so that they can step into their power, so that they can have better relationships and make more money.
Yeah. I'm gonna cut in a little bit too and just like
Mm-hmm.
round off a couple of things for me. So for me too, like I, there's not one stage where my life just changed. It was like an a leading to, of events and all of it. And some
Mm-hmm.
of them did catalyst a lot more into the change that was coming. But I realized I was always like being prepared. So like you too,
Mm-hmm.
excuse me, I went to a conference and my life changed when I found out all that information. I was like, it was with Louise Hay, Joe Dispenza, Wayne Dyer, all these people that, and when I heard the information, it was like, oh, my world exploded. And I just dove into the books, into the readings, into the teachings, and then into my own seekings and stuff like that. And in healing myself, as I was posting on Facebook and, you know, my social media, other people were telling me they were identifying with what I was doing and would start asking
Mm,
me things. And like I would intuitively feel what was working for me. And sometimes we have a better picture of watching on the outside what's happening with someone. They're so caught up in the vibration. So we can, you
mm,
know, help them. And people was like, you should coach, you should coach. But I didn't feel that I was, um, honestly, I'll just say I didn't feel like I was good enough yet to coach. And so
mm.
I asked my guides, like, what is it then that I'm doing? Because I know I'm helping, I'm loving it. People are telling me they're getting upliftment and even change of just like mind frame completely. Their lives are being directed by sometimes some of my posts or sometimes by things that I would say. Well, what am I called? And I felt like my spirit said that I'm an encourager, and also we are all reminders, but you are a reminder because everything everybody needs to know is already within themselves. It's just to be reminded of it. So
Exactly.
I love that because we're all on the same path, and different tools we use to help people remember who they are in themselves. I wanted to
Exactly.
know, how did hypnotherapy excuse me, come out about for you?
That came through when I was diving into the world of NLP and timeline. So looking at the unconscious, I got very interested in that. And for me, hypnotherapy is another tool that I love to use, as well as the mix of everything.
Yeah.
Hypnotherapy specifically, I really enjoy because, you know, people think of hypnotherapy as being on stage and people going into this trance and quacking like a duck.
Yeah.
And yes,
I
when it's on
actually do.
stage, sure.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I actually do a hypnotherapist, and that's exactly what she said to me. She said, "You're not going to go into a trance. It's not going to be like on TV, where it was very much like a guided
Yeah,
meditation to me, what we did."
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So,
What hypnotherapy is like, the thing is, you will only be hypnotized if you allow yourself to be hypnotized, and you will only allow yourself to drop in if you allow that. So, actually, the person being hypnotized has control.
yes.
It's the ability to surrender into it and allowing them to release. I like to look at it as like having, imagine you going to a club and there's a bouncer there and the bouncer's not letting you in, even though you're like, I've got all my amazing friends that tell me that I'm enough, tell me that I'm lovable, tell me that I can do anything. And he's like, no, 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 they stay outside. So in hypnotherapy, the way I like to look at it is like, actually, we kind of talk to the bouncer, so the bouncer moves to the side, and while the bouncer's distracted and moved to the side, we allow all of your friends to come
Oh, I
in.
like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
So
That was, yeah.
it is, and it's a
Go ahead. I'm sorry. What were
that's
you
kind of
saying?
how I describe it, because
Yeah.
otherwise people just think of it as this like show, and it's like, no, like all of these modalities and everything, like everything that people will find in the coaching sphere, it's all coming back to having people find their center, having people feel safe, people feel good enough to take on whatever it is that they're trying to like be better at. If it's to give up something like cigarettes, if it's to make more money, have better relationships, make more impact in the world, live a happier life, it's whatever is there stopping them, those
Yes.
limiting beliefs, that we use all of the tools in conjunction
Yes.
to kind of get people into that space of like, okay, you can achieve whatever you want to achieve. What is
Yeah.
it that you want to achieve now?
I think it's
Yeah.
just them making, once they're making up their minds to what is it that they want. A lot of times, in order to come to someone for help, you have to be in a space where you obviously believe in something that they're doing, first of all, right? That's why you're seeking
Mm-hmm.
out that type of a coach or that type of a person. And then
Absolutely.
also you're so in a space of surrender to try something, anything, or sometimes, something that you've heard that works, and you're in a space to really just like want to change your life. You reach out to
Mm-hmm.
somebody for help. So I know that's where a lot of people would probably be mentally to reach out to you. So I know you just mentioned like hypnotherapy is one of the forms that you use. Excuse me. Are there other
Yeah,
tools that you use as well?
absolutely. I think my perception is that one tool alone, like every single modality and every single thing that coaches use are amazing. And my perception is I've loved diving into such a wide variety of things, so that yes, I can see where things are better, but I like to, even when I'm working with one thing, combine other things within it. so it's
Yes.
cohesive. So I use the word world. So I'm an advanced spiral practitioner. Like if we look at titles, master NLP, master timeline, master hypnotherapist, and then I've done work like, so even when I talk about spiral, it uses like kinesiology, so energetics and muscle testing. And I love going through programs with that with people.
Yes.
And then looking at all forms of coaching. Like I've done a lot of work in the masculine and feminine and the embodiment world, and um, even the sexuality piece, because a lot of people find that actually in communication and boundaries, what people don't realize is that they'll have these issues or what they deem as problems, and what they don't realize is that they're not communicating what they want. They don't have the boundaries and the tools. So it's like, okay, we look at the umbrella of what's
Mhm.
happening, what's going on in their world, and go, okay, what are the layers? What are the levels that we need to go in deeper for?
Yeah.
You know, people think that going to one session of doing anything will fix all their problems, and it might, because it might just be the thing that you need to hear from
Yeah.
someone. And like you were saying, like people feel called and drawn to people, and I believe whenever I've worked with a mentor, I've wanted to receive that transmission, and I've wanted
Yes.
to receive that magic from someone to
Yeah.
level up myself.
Yeah.
um, so there are a number of different things. When I've done group programs, I find that it's really fascinating because all the women that come together in that group program, there's a common thread, and there's that common theme of exactly the same thing that they're all going through. So it's always perfect. And
It makes so
when
much
I've worked
sense
one
to
on
me
one,
because especially I'm sorry, I think there was a delay right in there. I'm sorry. I thought you paused for a
no,
second,
that's
so I
okay.
jumped in.
No, it's okay. No,
I
it's
was
okay.
saying
Perfect.
it makes sense to me because most of the time, even one of my favorite things to talk about is that we all vibrate at the same essence what we're going through, but different storylines. So it would make sense
Mm,
that the group of people that come to you are on a certain vibration that's looking to get tuned in to their
every
frequency, right?
single
Yeah.
time.
So yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so there'll be a connectedness in the collective that comes and is drawn to you.
Always,
Yeah.
always. And
Isn't
I'm
that?
sure that's even the same within this group, that, you know,
Yes.
all things possible. Like people are drawn in for certain reasons, and
Yeah.
there's some common theme with everyone here. So
Yes.
it's always the same.
Yeah.
That's where like I love doing on-ones, and I'm leaning more into groups because I realize the potency and the power of that, and going, wow, like when women come together, like even though I say groups, like groups of 3 or 4 people at a
Yeah.
time going through like
Yeah.
this work, and going, wow, like look at the potency, look at the changes, and they can give each other like
Yeah.
so much that it's just so powerful, is what
Yeah.
I find.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. I always found that power in unity, and then later on, I found the power in solitude. I love that power also. So, but I love the
Absolutely.
balance of it all because I love to be around women who I remember growing up really quick, as you said that, especially like in my 20s, even late 20s, hanging out with
Mm,
friends, and we're going out, and I had a lot of stripper friends, and so they were always bickering where this one's talking
mm,
about this one or that, and so I remember going out one night, and everybody got along so well in this group that we were in, and I remember
mm.
thinking, women probably do fight against it, but when you find that group that like really gets each other, know how to, that's an amazing feeling to find that.
Absolutely.
It's so empowering and so beautiful to see when women can actually be in each and love on each other, respect each other, and lift up each other. So I think that's very
Absolutely.
powerful. And more of our feminine energy now too is healing from that. So even more now we're embracing each other and lifting each other up with our gifts, with our tools, and I find like
Absolutely.
our tools, as like you said, you use more than one. I was thinking like in the kitchen, when you go make a dish, you usually use more than one ingredient to cook a meal.
Exactly.
So it makes
Exactly.
sense to use whatever, excuse me, according to the person needs, whatever according to
Exactly.
their, yeah, to help them shift their thinking.
I
So,
mean, there's certain things that work perfectly for everyone, like, and they can be utilized for everyone,
yes,
and certain themes that'll come up that we can like talk about or move through and do embodiment practices or hypno or energetical clearing or emotional clearing, And sometimes different people, because of their past experiences and the way they've like taken in information, just need to hear things differently, need to see things differently, need to
Yeah.
feel things differently. And that's where the fine tuning of like, okay, what does this person need for them
Yes.
to step into their power?
Yes.
What does this person need? Because no matter what, we're all individual. We've all had these individual lives. And no matter who you meet in the world, there is no single person that will be exactly the same as you.
I know, that's so awesome to think about that too.
Yeah.
There's nobody else like you. There's nobody else like me. No matter how close we
No.
are, under what's it called, doppelganger. My friend always laughs at me when I say that word because I don't know if I'm saying it right. But you know,
No, it's perfect. Yeah.
yeah, is it okay? So even if you have those out there, they're still not. I heard even identical twins are still not even 100%. You know, they could be 99.5 or whatever percent, but no one is like
Totally.
alike. So what works, what I love about that too, and realizing with the tools that we're offering to help people is it's tools for them to chip into what helps and works for them, and then they develop their own tools. And that's why this thing is expanding so much, because now let's say you have taught me meditation, and then somebody else taught us the secrets of frequency. So now we brought in frequency with meditation, and now somebody else has brought in, you know, because now they've been doing that, and then it clicked for them, water, the power of water. So somebody else has brought in frequency with the, it just keeps expanding and expanding.
Absolutely.
And there's no one tool, but many tools that we put together expand in such a beautiful way that we are healing, I believe, on such a larger level now than we have ever been before. So I'm so grateful for, first of all, the gift of the internet, because we can reach each other. You're in Australia right now. Absolutely. And I'm in Florida. I have a friend that's looking at this in Louisiana.
Wow.
You know, I have a friend in Texas. So it's amazing.
Isn't it so amazing?
How, yes, we can reach each other. And to know now, you don't have to be here where I am in order for me to help you. You can be wherever you are and reach out. Right? You work with people all over the
and
world.
It's just yeah, I've worked with people in Europe, in the States, in Asia. Yeah, I've worked with people in Asia as well, because time zones, we just make it work. Like, it's an international playing field. And I think because of COVID, it actually pushed me into doing more online work. And I'm so grateful, because the communities, it's a big world, but it's also a small world. And people, if you're trying to find something, it's just there at the tip of your fingertips. Like, everything is possible. And again, like, I love working with women that are just so, do you know, I actually really love working with women that are powerhouses. However, they don't realize they're powerhouses yet, or they're in like hiding about being a powerhouse. And I find that it's so interesting, the people that come to me and I go, you are such, like, you're a powerful human, you're a powerful person, let's just make this work, because I don't know how you found me, but somehow, like, this is who you're meant to be. Yeah, I can see it. I can see the vision, and going, your unconscious has come across us and connecting us. And yeah, let's move out all those limiting beliefs. Let's move out all of those things that are hanging on in that unconscious mind, because with the unconscious mind, so I don't know, like, if I haven't even gone into it, I know I'm jumping, but I get really excited, because what people don't realize is that
it's okay, jump.
Like, what people don't realize is the way that we take in information, what we see, hear, like, feel, what we know, we only take in 5% of the world consciously. Like, if you think about it, if you look out, and if whoever is watching, like, look around you in the room you're in, if you're outside, if you're on a walk, if you're in a car, like, there are so many things. We as humans receive 11 million bits of information per second, and consciously our brain can't take that. So we take in about 148 bits of information per second, maybe even 100. Sometimes I even say I can take in 50 when I'm really concentrating. However, everything else is in the unconscious. So things that we don't realize, like, our minds are so powerful beyond even what we realize, and they store things. In. It's like if you're driving and you all of a sudden you've been thinking, you're like, oh, how did I get home? I don't even remember. You're like, you've been in autopilot. That's sometimes what your unconscious can do. Like, the biggest prime directives of your unconscious mind is to store memories, to like push down any negative and like store negative emotions that you are not able to deal with right now.
Yeah.
They'll bring them up when you are feeling powerful enough to like deal with them and you have the resources. They run the body. I mean, when we're sleeping, who's breathing in our body?
Yeah.
We're not consciously thinking about all the organs, and most importantly, it keeps us safe. It keeps our
Yeah.
body safe.
Yeah.
So that's where the feelings of fears and the feelings of resistances can come up, because the prime directive is to keep us safe. And sometimes we, as people, you don't realize it's like, oh, I want to make more money. Oh, I want to run a marathon. Oh, I want to start that business. Oh, I want to write that book. And then there's those internal voices and those that monkey mind that'll tell us, you can't do that. Don't do that. You'll fail.
So,
What all those people think. So I what I take a step back. What I love doing is actually going through and having people realize that they can have those voices, and for them to look at the vision and take actions, for us to find what those limiting beliefs are and go, okay, how can we move them and rewire them so that you realize that you're powerful.
I know what I've realized too is that all human beings, I don't care what culture, race, part of the world you were born in, how rich, how poor you were, we were born into this family and kind of just got, even like I said, even if you're in the best situation with a golden spoon to feed you, you're still going to find something that, excuse the language, fucks with you as a little kid. And as you grow older, the whole point of all of what we're doing is unlearning it and reprogramming what we really want from what we've observed by that programming setting into our subconscious, right? So now we're like,
absolutely,
oh wait, I want this and I deserve this, but my subconscious is playing against it. Okay, now I have to go in here and figure out how that got into there. And somehow on the non-physical, we have found that this must be fun because all human beings have to go through this.
every single person. And that is so true, exactly what you said. Like, I've worked with people that have lived very, like, you would think, amazing lives,
Yeah,
and
they will
people
still
take on
find.
trauma.
Yep.
People still take trauma, and trauma is trauma, and it could be from you having a younger sibling being born and then not having all the
Yeah.
love and attention from your family. That is
Yeah.
also trauma. And then finding yourself growing up to feel like you need to please people and give more in order to receive.
Yeah.
And then there's people that have had hard lives that, you know, everyone has their own traumas, and trauma in all areas is valid. It's these representations of, I also like to think of them as like, people's problems are only problems because we add meaning to it, because we've created a story around it, and we've created this feeling, this vision. Like, we've heard these things that people have said, and we've created it and anchored it
Yes.
into our minds.
Yes.
And then that story of whenever we were young that originally happened that hurt us, that's what replays when we're going through life.
Yeah. Yeah. A couple of times too, I really want to touch on. I think even as a little kid, I remember for more than 2 decades, because there was a period of time where I didn't know where my dad was. When I was about 19 or so, I found him again. And so we're taking a drive to New York, and I'm asking him some questions about things that were memory. Now, there's this one memory in my head. I used to tell all my friends at school. I told everybody, and I thought it was so real, which I thought I had a memory of like a tiger being near the river, because I'm from Trinidad, okay? And I remember hearing there was a tiger, and my dad and his friend with a shotgun trying to get us into the house quickly because there's a tiger loose in the thing. And so I told everybody, my dad, and they shot the tiger, and da, da, da. So I'm driving with my dad, and I asked him, was that something that was real? Because like I can see even visions of it and everything. And he said around that time frame, there was a tiger that got loose from the zoo in Trinidad. And there was something like that, but his friends and him had nothing to do with it. They didn't shoot anything. Yeah. They may have hunted at that time. But and I remember it was the first time I thought, wow, look how easily I changed a story in my head as a little kid that wasn't even factual. And I have based the whole story and emotions and even pictures in my head of this. And the second time was I did a teal swan. I did a No, that wasn't with Teal Swan. This one was just myself. I did a meditation where I went back and back, and I was in a space too where just choosing wrong people for relationships, right? People that had me kind of waiting, and would never show up, excuse me, in the way that I was showing up for them. And so I did a meditation to find out like what happened, and I was brought back to a place where in Trinidad, my dad and my mom had split up. He would come and get us on some of the weekends, and one weekend he was supposed to come get us, and I sat on the stairs waiting for him. And in my meditation, I remember feeling as every car passed by, is that him? Is that him? Is that him? Is that him? And he didn't show up that night. And it finally got dark, and my mom was like, "All right, come inside now. Your dad's not coming." And I went inside crying. And in the meditation, I remember going inside thinking, what did I do? Why doesn't he love me? Well, how come he didn't come and get me? And what did it? And I went into this whole sad thing where my brother was just playing. He didn't care if he came or if he didn't come. And so my dad ended up coming later on, but that memory, that feeling stuck with me almost for this period of time until maybe 2 years ago when I did this meditation. And I held this story that I was not worthy again, and I was lovable. Now, when I did this meditation, I went back and I seen this little girl standing on the stairs, and I realized as an adult, shit happens. He could have gotten stuck somewhere. I was a little kid. He wasn't going to tell me what, I had to fix a flat tire. What he probably told my mom, but not me. And so this time I told the little girl that was sitting on the stairs, stuff happened. Your dad loves you. He just couldn't make it tonight. And instead of me getting up and going inside crying, I got up and went to go play with my brother. I redirected and rechanged and reprogrammed that whole situation till I got to the point, because for many years I would sitting waiting and waiting for guys to show up, and they would never show up until I got to the point where I said, no, I am lovable. If you show up, you know what I mean? Show up, or if you don't, next or bye or whatever the situation was. But I reprogrammed that to feel like, wait, I am lovable. That was a really powerful tool for me. So just realizing as little kids, and I think that's a lot of what the work we do, we program into our minds things that were very, very probable true to us, but some things we have made up in our heads that we need to identify as well. So I think it's working with someone when you don't know how to do that can be very helpful, because like I said, Teal Swan is the one that helped me figure out how to do this, so that years later I was doing it on my own. I can do a regression in a sense by myself if I need to find stuck somewhere. So I love that too, that we're giving people tools from the tools that we've learned.
Yeah, exactly. And 100%. I like to work with people and then have people feel like they've been able to get like enough. How am I trying to say this? Like, I don't want to have people working with me forever. I don't want to have people think that I'm their savior or their guru. Yeah, because everyone, like you were saying earlier, is powerful in their own right, and I want to be able to help unleash them. And if they want to come with me for the journeys, sure, because I'm leveling up at the same time. However, it's not the sense that you are forever in need. No. And if you want to level up, great, but it's not coming from the space of you're broken, let me fix you. It's from the space of you're a powerful human, you can live a better life. Because exactly what you were saying, like some of the biggest woundings that you've just shared are around like, I'm not lovable, and we attract in what we feel like we're worthy to receive, not what we want, but what we're open to receiving and giving. And that's where the being able to give, like for a lot of women of of ethnic backgrounds as well, it's even more prominent that they give and give and give and give and give. That's how they have been taught, and that's how they've been raised. And there's a relearning of how to receive. And until we're able to fully receive in all areas of life, whether it be money, love, pleasure, whatever it is, like every area is going to be off slightly. And when we're able to give and receive in the same way, and it could even be like even talking about self-love, like self-love doesn't need to be baths, and it doesn't need to be getting a facial and doing your nails. It can also be setting boundaries. It can also be having integrity to your word, to what you said that you were going to do for yourself. So really cultivating that for yourself, and you know, you mentioned the story about rewiring. It's like rewiring those stories so that you know that everything's possible, all things are possible.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like really having you believe and feel like you're filling your own cup so that whatever woundings you've taken on, whatever stories you've created, because memories are easily changeable, like you've just like
Yes.
effectively, really effectively just shared and going like when we take in events, we delete, distort, and generalize, and then we
Yes.
hold on to those memories. We create these visuals, we create these like things that we hear, we create these feelings, and we make them our truth. And it's
Yeah.
like, oh well, actually, like you said, like what actually happened with my dad? Like, was he late? Did he like get caught at work and he needs to like, is there a big presentation that he has a deadline for that he needs to wait up until,
Yeah.
and he needs to stay back until 11 or 12 p.m. However, as like, if you don't know that, you'll create a story that, oh, he's not here to say good night. He didn't come to my formal. He didn't do this. He doesn't love me. It's like, no, it's not true. Like every single person is going through their own human experience as well at the same time as you
Yes.
are.
Forgive. Yes. I love that. I think that's a
Mm,
really good way to wrap up. I want you to tell people how can
mhm.
they find you if they're looking for someone to do what in their lives. How can they reach out to you?
So I thank you. I really have so appreciated being on here, being on live, speaking to you. You've got such a beautiful energy. I'm
Same.
obsessed.
Same.
So I've just created a Facebook group, Untamed Queens, which I'm wanting to do a bit
Oh,
of
I love
training in and build a community in. And also find me on Instagram at the moment, Ranetha Perera, and reach out. I will be running a 12-week program to start in maybe 3 weeks' time,
yeah.
where I'm taking 4 women through a process of energetic clearing mindset. We're looking at their unconscious. I probably will be dropping some hypnotherapy as well. And that's women that, again, like things around not being worthy, not being enough, not being loved, so that
Yeah.
they can really step into their power and take
Yeah.
on what it is in their life that they desire and create that money, have those relationships that they desire, and do whatever they want, you know,
Yes.
live
I
a
love
life
that.
that they really love. Yeah. So
Oh,
that's how
I would
people can
love to
reach
reach
out.
out to you. Yeah, I was gonna say you're gonna leave your links. I also am gonna put your all your links, your Instagram, your Facebook, and stuff like that when I
Oh,
upload
thank
this to
you.
YouTube, so people can find you.
Perfect.
But I would love if you could put it in the comments on here, as
I
well as if
will.
they want
Thank
to
you.
personally reach out to you. Your name is tagged on this video, so that they can always click on it and find you as well. And so,
Absolutely.
yeah,
You can
we'll have
send
it
me a
on there.
message.
I feel a
Yeah,
little
send me a message.
starstruck. I'm telling you, I feel like I'm on a live with Deepika, and I like it because maybe because she's one of my favorite.
I love that. Thank you. I'm gonna just
are you
absolutely receive that.
are you Indian cult in your
I'm
culture?
I'm actually Sri Lankan, so very close
Ah,
to
see,
India.
come
Very
on now, you
very
know.
similar. Who knows? Maybe we're very very distant cousins or distant
Somehow
relations. You never
intertwined the
know.
blood. Yes, there's too many ways.
Exactly.
So I
We all are.
appreciate you so much taking time. I also love your spirit. I feel very connected to you. I'm so glad you said yes. You
Thank
shared a
you.
lot of nuggets with us,
Thank
and
you.
thank you. You are welcome to come back on if you have anything else that you want to plug, anything else you want to talk about. My
Amazing.
platform is
Thank
open
you.
to you.
Amazing. I'm so appreciative of that and so grateful. I'm feeling very
Thank
honored and a lot of gratitude for you. Thank you.
So I look forward to seeing
Yeah.
your post and growing with you as well. Thank you again.
Likewise.
All right, you have a
Perfect.
good night.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone. Goodbye.
Oh, you guys, you can feel like a really beautiful soul when you. Oh, Kalina was another one. There's some people their souls just they just whisper. They don't scream out. They don't. They just whisper. Beautiful. That was Ranetha. Thank you so much for joining us today. Um, there's different ways and tools people are empowering other people, other humans. I want to say because we have people that feel called to help the masculine energy. We have people that are called to help the feminine energy. And then we have those who are called to help both. I stand in the middle with both. And I love the people who stand for feminine, who stand for masculine. I don't think they're saying that's all that they stand for, but that is definitely a space that they feel called to help empower. And so I thank you guys. She is. She is. You guys stay tuned. In about 20 more minutes, I'm going to have James Duffy coming back on again. We have so much fun when we have conversations, and so we're gonna do a live on the ego. Join us at 9 o'clock. I'm gonna double check with him. Might be a little bit after 9. And we're gonna be back on with James stuff. You guys, thank you so much for joining me. I will see you in a little bit.